Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am flipping through my December planners. So I'll go ahead and apologize for the noise. My kids are at home. It's the end of Christmas break. We've got today, tomorrow, and Sunday before the kids go back to school on Monday. And I'm trying to get this video out. I'm sure you hear Rosie playing in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting for you. But I wanted to get this video out. So like I said, I apologize for any background noise. I'm going to be flipping through my classic size Frankenplanner that I had for December, as well as my work and social media planner. I'm going to start with the classic size just because this will be the longer portion of the flip through. My classic size planner is set up right now with the frosted cover and a little bit of scrap paper that I cut down and just kind of stuck in here to give it like that Christmas vibe. I do have it on I think they're metal black discs, classic size, and this was a great setup for me. I really loved having it all kind of in this Frankenplanner. For January, as you know if you've watched that video, I have Frankenplanned everything, so I have several planners in one kind of binder on one set of discs. But for December, I decided to combine as much as possible. So it's actually a single planner, and I just used as many pages as I needed to, and you'll kind of see that as we go through. Now, before we get into it, I want to just mention that I do not flip through on this in this monthly flip through. I do not flip through the girls' memory books, and I don't think I might have some budget notes in here, but usually I don't flip through my monthly budget either, just because there's, it's budget. There are numbers, money type things that I don't really want to show on YouTube. But I do try to flip through everything else. There might be some pages that I blur out just for the sake of like privacy. It could be prayer requests or just like addresses, things like that I don't want to have on YouTube. And so if there are blurred areas or sections of the video that are blurred out, that's the reason why. But I will flip through every page just so you can kind of see it, or at least get an idea of what the page is. I'll talk through it, and most of the video will be the classic size. I'll very quickly flip through my work and social media planners as well. So let's get into it then. I've explained the setup here. We're going to get right into it. So just to start off with, I mentioned budget, right? So this is just one sheet as an example. I'll actually stick it over here because that makes a little bit more sense with my budget numbers. So I did write out all of my categories for December and, just jotted down some of the numbers for my budget right there. These numbers came from the end of November, so it's the numbers that I ended up in my rolling cash envelopes for the month of November going into the beginning of December, right? And then what I did for December was basically use random sheets of paper. So I'm trying to use down my stash, and so I did that. This one I just kind of set up with kind of like a schedule on the left hand side and then the to-do list. But again, you'll see like a very random mix of just like sometimes I use letterings, like wrote a different way to mark events, but then mostly it's just kind of like all over the place. So I'll have to blur this out because it's the name of my church. But this was Sunday, and so we were at church taking a lot of notes on Colossians 1, and it was a very good Sunday school worship service lesson. Can't speak today. But then in this envelope, I know it's blurred out, but it's an envelope that is linked in my description box, so you can see this if you want to find it. It's part of the 2025 Frankenplanner list of supplies that I use for my 2025 Frankenplanner, so that the envelopes are there. And so I use this just to store all of the stuff for Sunday school, sermon notes, bulletins, all the stuff from worship service as well. I'll flip it this way so you can kind of see this. This was Rose's Sunday school coloring, and then here are the rest of my notes for the worship service. I took lots of notes this day. And then I continued with several more days. So here is just, this must have been at church. Okay, yeah, so we were finishing out the new covenant. We finished out the series on covenants in general, a covenant series. And so this was going into the new covenant. And so I took lots of notes here. And then after church, these are just some other notes that we had here. So yeah, that's all there. And then here, this is blank because I was thinking this right here, another envelope that I stuck a a little note in here. Actually, pull this out so you can see it. This is Sophia's Christmas wish list that she made at her grandma's house. Just wanted to make her Christmas wish list fancy, and so I was going to tape that on that page. And then here's moving into the second. So same kind of format, just the schedule on the side, tasks on that side. But again, you can even see with the first that I did mix it up. Here on the third, because this was the back of a sheet, I just ignored this here, ignored the dates, and I just wrote my events. We were very not busy that day, apparently. I am assuming worked all of this day, and so most of those notes are in my work planner, and so this just covers my personal events and tasks. Right, here's the fourth, so you can see in comparison there's a big difference there. Here I didn't do any hand lettering, but I did try to mark the big things that we did in these boxes. Same here. All right, I'll flip through a little bit quicker. I think you get the gist of how this goes. I've got post-it notes. I literally started writing with like pencil, and same thing with the boxes, but then I used, like, look at this. I'm trying to use it all up, right? So literally just use this, had a bunch of events this day. Yeah. And didn't use this page because we went into some, like, this is part 2 of the New Covenant series. So we did the first part of it on the first. Here's the second part of it. So that is that from our church. And then I decided for a week that I would move into like a skinny mini. Again, just trying to use up my supplies. So I started off with just the week. All right, and so I listed all of the events. I actually kind of started this on the 10th. I don't know what happened to the 9th. We must have been not busy. I'm not quite sure why I have nothing for the 9th. But here on the 10th and through the weekend, through the 15th. And then I have just a random Winnie the Pooh tag that I thought was cute, so I stuck it in here on a micro size. Okay, and then here I move into skinny mini size. So these are the same or similar size to skinny mini, but they're not skinny mini pages. Or they're not happy planner skinny mini pages. So this one is a mini page that got cut down. Right, and again, I just put my schedule in here. This is kind of like a micro size, that 3x4 size. Here's this is definitely skinny mini size, but it's Jane's agenda. All right, and again, I just wrote all the notes. My handwriting got messy this week, super messy. All right, and then here's another stuffed envelope full of notes from church, which I won't go through, but it basically all the notes from church. And then we move into again, random page, but this is the monthly layout. And so I decided just to track this way. I didn't bother here with putting my events. As you can see, earlier in the month I was putting my events on one side, my tasks on the other, but I kind of gave that up and just started listing them like this, just kind of like in just a straight going down the line. And then I started in mid-December going back to listening to Heart Dive and trying to catch up. And so I would say like maybe 3 weeks of catch up that I needed to do. And so this is where I was doing some of that. I do listen to it on podcast, and so I don't have to watch a video or anything like that. So I'm doing this in the middle of doing all of my other things. And so I put this page. This page is a printable I found on Google. I have not been able to re-find it. And so it's something that I just Googled, like Bible chapter summaries, and found it like 6 or 7 years ago. Haven't been able to find it again. But when I finish a chapter, I just kind of stick it in here. I do take my notes here for like what I finish or like what I read through or listen to in a day. So those notes are there. We also finished, or I did at least finish through Galatians. We're still working on Acts at this point. And then another just like task list, random one from Stargazer, where I'm doing the same thing. I have stopped dating and using stamps, but here, this must be the 22nd. All right, and then this, I kind of left like this because I wanted to tape it together like this. All right, and so we did finish, or I finished 1 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, and then moved into just like random notes here. These are random old tasks that I had, so I just kind of put a box around it and then started taking more notes. This is probably still the 22nd, right? And then again, this is another one where I was going to tape it together. I got through 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians, right? And again, this is all, you can see here it's the 22nd, and then I move into the 23rd, so I'm just taking notes pretty much anywhere. Not quite sure why I didn't write on the back of this one or the front of that one. But then same thing, this is a different monthly layout page, and just took the notes like this. This should be the 24th. I put the date right there. I might eventually go back in and stamp that. Might not. And on the 24th, I finished Romans. I finished Acts, yay. Finished Colossians and Philemon and Ephesians. Okay, and so I'm definitely binge listening to it. I did in 2024 at least, end of December. But I wanted to try to like be finished and catch up by the end of 2024. So I spent Christmas Eve, which I wasn't working, I spent it just kind of listening and catching up. And so then Christmas Eve evening, we went to my mother-in-law's house, and then Christmas for lunch, we went to my side of the family. So I just had the Christmas menu. This page is actually from a Christmas planner. If you're interested, just let me know and I'll link it for you. It's one that I purchased off Amazon and just kind of like cut off the book binding and punched 4 discs. And I think it's just really nice to be able to use that. I just obviously just tracked my food. And then going into this, I decided to, after lunch, we came back home. We needed to start planning for Sophia's birthday party. So a lot of this is just notes for Sophia's birthday. Some other notes here. And then on the 26th, I made it through Philippians, 1 Timothy, Titus, 1 Peter, Hebrews, and 2 Timothy. And I put a note right here that I'm all caught up. Now you might notice that it's not in like canonical order. That's because for Heart Dive in 2024 and actually for 2025 too, they're both doing a chronological reading plan. So it was chronologically speaking the order that these books or should be in. And so then again, just taking random notes here. And then I'll blur this out just because it's a fancy location, but we went to dinner, my husband and I, with some friends, and so that was really nice to be able to do that. Again, I'll blur this out. It's got like addresses and things like that, but I'm doing the same thing here with like just taking notes in a 2-column format. All right, I've got notes here because I wanted to make sure I scanned these pages here first, but I did decide to do some reflecting because I literally had this page. And so I wrote some kind of journaly type things for the end of 2024. And then got through on the 28th through 2 Peter, Jude, 1 John, 2 John, and 3 John. And the reason why I had to do that all at once, even though I was caught up earlier, is because Heart Dive didn't release their podcast. So I was actually off. So definitely could have listened to it. It just ended up being where they dropped like 6 podcast episodes pretty much around the same day. Like it could have been like across 2 or 3 days, but it was like a period. I will blur this out, but again, it's another envelope with like sermon notes and study notes, bulletins, things like that from church. And then on the side, same deal here, but this one is like for single column format. So again, just writing all my notes, and I think that might be it. Right, that was the 29th. The 29th is pretty much technically and officially when I ended my planner, because the 30th and 31st we were traveling, and so I didn't actually write any plans down for those 2 days for 2024. So that was all of it. Again, you can kind of see it was like fairly like messy, random, using up pages, writing on like different spots of it, but that's just kind of how I wanted to end the year, is to not hold on to perfection, just really focus on using up my supplies. And so I thought I did a good job with that. So yeah, that was my personal setup. Now we're going to get into basically my work setup and my social media setup. Now these two are set up on like big planners, and so I treat them as like my work planners. So this one is of course my full-time job, and then for social media, I consider that kind of a part-time job or a side hustle, because I do get paid for YouTube and it is monetized, and I have affiliate links and all sorts of stuff, and so there is some money coming in. I don't make a lot of money, definitely can't be something where I'm doing it full-time, but you know, I do want to just have a separate planner for that. And so I decided in 2024 to go to a big size for both of these planners, and that has been working amazingly, and so I'm going to continue that for 2025. But for for the purposes of this video, we're looking only at December. So let me get to it. This planner, I gave the dividers to my father-in-law just because he wanted like a planner. And so I gave the like divider and the monthly page to him. And so I don't have dividers. It's kind of like flipping through trying to find it. Right, so here's the first. I didn't work on Sunday, and so I don't have any notes or anything there for the first. And then here's the 2nd through the 8th. You can see it's absolutely empty. So I did write on the back of it, and you can see here I put the date, the 2nd through the 8th, just because for whatever reason I just didn't write on the front of it. I don't really know. But what I do, and let me take this out. Right, sorry for the noise, guys. But what I do is on this side, I will put all of my events, and then of course there's to-do list, and then for these 3 boxes I pretty much track or make notes about meetings or like major events or tasks that I have. And so here I'm working on a program review report. That was my big project for December, so lots of notes related to that. And so yeah, that's pretty much the setup for December. This is probably the only color that you'll see in this entire, no, there are other colors, but like that's the only fancy part of the planner, because this is kind of what it looks like usually. Oh, one thing I will mention is that here December 9th through the 15th is on this side, and normally this would be the corresponding, like if you work with a happy planner, you know this is the 9th and 15th. This should be the 9th and 15th, or 9th through 15th, but I don't like doing it like that. I just like it to be like a 1-page like front and back kind of deal. So this is the 9th through the 15th, and then this is the 9th through the 15th. And so any notes, extra notes that I have, I just kind of stick it here. And so again, this is the 9th through the 15th, starting here on the 10th, going through the 12th. I definitely wrote a lot this week, lots of notes you can see to myself. All right, I have another divider in here. I'll just flip that. And 16th through the 22nd. This is the last busy week that I had, because like, oh my gosh, look at that, like so many notes. Everyone wanted to have all of their meetings, and so I had like, this is like an old sheet that I just folded in half, and I'm just taking more and more notes. These are all from just like meeting notes. Here, like this was a single meeting that I ended up like having to go into 2 pages. And then you can see here my to-do list got so long that I had to put it, like the rest of it here. It was just a very, very, very busy week. All right, this I had to blur out because it is information that I cannot show on screen. All right, I'm gonna take that out and just show you the 23rd through the 29th. This week, very interesting. I had a coworker, a colleague who was on vacation, and I served as her co-grader for the class. And so I'm taking notes related to that, but mostly it was a very slow week because, 2 days we were off for the 24th and 25th. And then so I was really only working Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And it was very light, honestly. Not a lot of students wanted to make contact with a faculty member during the week of Christmas. And then the 28th and 29th, I was actually gone. So I did take notes in my personal planner for the 28th and 29th, but I didn't actually work on the 28th and 29th. So that's pretty much the official end of this planner. Right, and again, these are the notes for through the 29th, essentially. Okay, and so that is my work planner. And Rose is talking. I do try to edit out most of that, but sometimes you just, like, you're in the middle of a thought, you don't want to edit out every single thing and have to repeat everything. So last one, again, very short, flip through, I think. It's my social media planner. So I decided to just kind of get back into trying to use the teacher layout. This is a random set of teacher layout pages, outdated, they don't correlate, right? So I do ignore this side of it and just redate across the top for myself. I wrote literally 1 note right here for myself. And then here for pretty much the entire week, I didn't do anything. But for my social media planner, I don't really have a specific row designated. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But for December, I just kind of chronologically wrote down the column and tried to indicate what went where, what was YouTube, what was Instagram, that kind of thing, right? And so you'll see that kind of go through. Oh, I use stickers. Look at that. Okay, me actually pull this out. I used sticker for a week. It's actually really cute. It's a very random mix of like pastels and Christmas and florals, but yeah, that's really cute. I try to match up the colors and be very softy. I learned that from Sophia, like very pastel colors. It was a very busy week. I was trying to like get back into the groove of recording, and so I've got lots of extra notes. The back of this I have used, right? That's old notes. This obviously is old notes as well. It says right here, like C-section, I had to arrive at the hospital. That's from 2022. It's just a note that I just left in there because it was cute. That's the day that Rose was born, 2 years ago. And then here are some additional notes. So I wrote here and then had here. Now you'll see these notes right here. I used ChatGPT. I mentioned this in my Word of the Year video to kind of brainstorm, and I really liked what they had to what AI had to say. And so these were the words that were suggested. I did select bloom as my word, and then I did ask ChatGPT to also use bloom to help me develop some goals. I'll do a separate video on my goals and how I'm actually doing goal setting. So that's on the list of things to record. But yeah, that was that week. And then this week, very busy as well, but not as cute. I didn't use any stickers. I had this one like really productive period, basically Christmas Day after lunch with my family. Going into the afternoon and evening, I was super productive, wanted to set up all of my planners. And I also, on the 26th, the day after Christmas, wanted to get a lot done. And so you'll see it's very, very busy there. And then, like I said, we were gone for the rest of it. I did take a lot of notes here. You'll see for the 28th and 29th, right? So this is all one thing, right? So this week, this post-it note, and then these notes all are for the same week, right? And then I did, for this planner at least, I decided to go back in and take the final set of notes. Even though, again, we were on vacation here, I wanted to make sure that I put when videos got posted. So this all got planned in advance. They were all scheduled posts, as you can see here, but I wanted to just have it be with the day. And so I did, for this planner at least, finish it out. For the other two, I didn't do the 30th and the 31st, but for this one, I don't know, I just wanted it to be together. All right, and that is it. Okay, I'm sure this was a very long video because all of my flip through videos are fairly long, but hopefully it was a good view for you and you enjoyed seeing what I did in December. Again, this system, Frankenplanning, using all of my supplies, really been working for me. That's my goal for 2025 as well. But it was nice to be able to walk through it and just show you the real life, right? Like what my planners actually look like after the pen. So I hope you enjoyed that. I am a functional planner, as you can probably tell. And so I just like to watch videos like this. And so my videos, I hope, give you inspiration, inspire you to really use your planners and not focus so much on like making it pretty to the point where it's not functional for you. If you can make it pretty and functional, I think that's perfect. But if you need it to serve any purpose, the one of the two that I would choose is definitely to make it functional, not pretty, right? A pretty but non-functional planner is not really a planner. So that's my thought for the day, and we will leave it at that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.